Hey everybody, welcome back to the Armory today. Well, today's going to be a little different. Buddy of mine expressed some interest in reloading, but has never done any reloading or anything of the sort. And I've been reloading for, 10, 12, 13 years now for myself. And I thought that would be a good chance to make a little video series on kind of the basics of what it takes to reload. This is not going to be specific for anybody or anybody's rifle, but really just an overview of what reloading is and how to get involved in it. So, first step, really, you need a book, and this is going to steer you 100% in the right direction. This is Lyman 50th edition, and to really get started, this is going to get you all of the critical data that you're going to need to know to get into reloading. It's going to go through a lot of the equipment, a lot of the setup and stuff like that, and how to do it. These books are very, very important. They're very thorough in their information, and really don't start reloading or wanting to reload or anything without getting one of these books. Read through the beginning of the book. It'll tell you a lot of the good information that you're going to need to know, a lot of the technical terms. There's just a lot to learn when it comes to reloading, and really, you also need to understand you're not going to ever stop learning. Reloading is really just an ever-expanding discipline, really. So, what you're going to do is get a book. The book's going to go through all the tools and equipment you're going to need, and everything to set up. So once we get kind of through that, and I'll let you learn that on your own. I'm not going to read a book to you, but the main bulk of the book is going to go over each of the specific cartridges that you're going to be looking at reloading, and not every book is going to have every cartridge, so you may have to specifically look for books that have a specific cartridge for you. A couple of them that come to mind, one of the rifles I shoot is an old Austrian M95 straight pull. It shoots the original 8mm by 50R big rimmed cartridge. There's very little data out there about the original 8x50R, and I had to search out an old reloader's manual that actually had the technical data on this. And likewise, my Nagant revolver, I had to source out a book that was old enough to actually reference reloading a Nagant revolver. So you can pretty much find just about every cartridge, with the exception of Wildcats or very, very old cartridges. Very, very old cartridges are going to be a lot more difficult, and if you don't find a book with the resource, there are other resources. One of them is a website called Load Data, and Load Data specializes in basically cataloging every type of cartridge and load that they can think up. So there's your two big resources, books and online. So you can also get loading resources straight from the powder manufacturers. I know Hogden I have used for a couple of loads, and the actual powder manufacturers do carry a lot of loading resources as well. So let's look at this. So coming up, I have to make a batch of .30-06 for my dad, and he provided me with a bunch of boxes of brand new brass, very, very old from back in the day. He bought these, probably back in the 70s. And he said, well, I've got a bunch of brass and need .30-06, so I got to make a whole bunch of .30-06 for him. And so let's look at the .30-06 in the book. Now, this is going to give you a bunch of different bullet configurations. They graduate them in weight. So they go from the lightest to the heaviest and go from there. So the first thing you want to do is, what type of bullet are you shooting? So let's look at these. These are Berger. They are Target 30 caliber 155.5 grain bullets. These are not hunting bullets. They're a nice full metal jacket with a little boat tail. And that is, it says it's specifically designed for Palma style shooting, which is kind of interesting. Palma style shooting is a prone shooting competition, generally 308 and 223, if I remember correctly. Iron sights, if I remember correctly. Something I don't do, but something I have read about over the years. So we've got a 155 grain bullet. And what you want to do is you want to try to find something in the 155 grain. And we don't have the specific 155 grain, but we've got a 150 grain jacketed soft point, 165 grain jacketed ballistic tip. So let's just say we'll go off of the 150 grain for right now. And what this is going to do is this is going to tell you all the powders that they have recommended in this book. IMRs, Hogdens, a whole list. Here you've got about 15 different powders. Now there is one highlighted in bold font, and that is going to be what they believe is the best loading for this bullet. So if you want to get the best results as the book defines them, it would be the highlighted in black. But the first column is going to be the suggested starting load. So it's going to be kind of your minimum starting load to build up a load for the rifle. It's going to give you the velocity that starting load should provide. And it's going to give you the pressures that load is supposed to provide. It's also going to give you this red box, and this red box is going to be the maximum load. So if we go off this IMR 4064, which they consider the best loadout, at 48 grains, it's going to give you 2695 for velocity and 36,000 PSI. Now, if we go over here, the maximum load is going to be 53 grains, which will yield you 3,012 feet per second, and a maximum pressure of 49,600. So, this is the data that you are going to really rely on to build out your load. These are not just the only powders that will work with this, but this is going to be what they consider the best powders for this particular load with this particular bullet. So, since they don't have this exact bullet that we're going to be shooting out of this, what I would do is go to the bullet manufacturer, Berger, which they sometimes will have load data for their specific loads, or go to the chosen powder manufacturer and see what they recommend. I use a lot of Ogden products. I really, really like Varget. It is a good all-around powder for a lot of these 30 caliber rifles, these big full-size 30 cals. I've had a lot of great success with Varget in all these military rifles, 30-06, 308, 7.62 Russian. Varget works really, really good in those. So I will look for that load from Varget because that's what I have on hand. Even though it may not be the perfect powder for it, it's not a competition rifle. It's just a weekend fun toy. So basically, you're going to want to familiarize yourself with the book, how it's laid out, the different availabilities. And this is a fairly comprehensive book. It's got a lot of different good information on a wide variety of different rifles. And past the rifles, we've got handgun ammunition. So there's a lot of good information on handguns. So this is a good all-around book. I always keep this book in its up-to-date printing. It is kind of the first source that I'll go to for loading. And then, like I said, I've got other resources if I don't find exactly the specific one. But this one will usually get you in the realm of the information you need. And then you can refine that information as it goes. So, first step in reloading, get yourself a book, get yourself really familiarized with the layout of the book, and get yourself familiarized with the equipment you're going to need. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of equipment involved in reloading. If you've been reloading for a while, you kind of know it's basically like second nature. But I also remember when I started in the world of reloading, it was kind of daunting because there's so much little stuff that you need to do, and now it's just kind of second nature. So get yourself a book, get yourself acquainted with it, and the next video we're going to go over the components of the bullet and stuff like that and get to the basics of preparation. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.